what we call it, committee members, right? So the actual participants, we have got Amin, we have got Anis, who else? Here, Alia, N, who is N? HA. Right, I believe we have got what, 5 people, 6 people here, right? Okay, today we're gonna do something very fancy, all right? I think there's a lot of things that I want to share. What I'm gonna do is basically I will break this down into 3 different sessions, right? So the first session I will go briefly introduce myself, all right? The journey that I've gone through for the last 30 years as an entrepreneur, okay? And then I will also share with you an interesting contents on being an entrepreneur, what we call the awakening the entrepreneur within, all right? Then the third session only we will go into the pitching lab, I would say the pitching lab session on the preparing of the pitching deck, pitch deck. All right, okay, let me share my screen. This will be, I've not updated this for quite a while. In fact, I've not been doing training for quite some time due to the pandemic. Okay, I'll just share with you my screen on the my professional profile. Okay, my full name is Shamsul Bahril bin Muhammad Shafi'i. All right, was basically raised in Ipoh, Perak, right? And I was from the boarding school, Sekolah Tuanku Abdul Rahman, right? Before I pursue my BBA at IIUM, right? At that time was in PJ, yeah, Petaling Jaya. All right. So basically during my university days, I was quite involved in a lot of different activities. And I became an entrepreneur when I was 19 years old, right? So basically that was during my first year. My first year during my studies at IIUM, all right? So somehow that happened just coincidentally when I started working part-time, and I got a job with Dunkin' Donuts, right? So during the semester break, I went to work at Dunkin' Donuts. Then one fine day when I was given an opportunity to open up and lead the team at a new outlet at Section 14 PJ. Then when the semester started in main campus during my year 1, so I found out that it's not easy and also difficult for me to travel in between classes to Section 14 to and fro, right, back and forth. So I suggested or proposed to the owner of Dunkin' Donuts Malaysia, say, why not we open one outlet in university, yeah, in UIA, since that there's an opportunity where we have also got many foreign students who are not familiar with our local cuisines. They are still looking for Western products, Western food. So I said, why not we open one? So he said it's a good idea. And since then, I proceed with the proposal, talking to the student affairs, yeah, getting some buying in from them, and they helped me a lot and bring this proposal all the way up to the rector at that time. Yeah, and Alhamdulillah, the rector was very happy with the proposal. He has not seen any such a proposal came from a student, right? He approved it immediately, and well, that's history. So basically, I was running my Dunkin' Donut outlet as my first entrepreneurial venture when I was 19 in IIUM PJ. Yeah, at that time was at Section 17 PJ, right? Okay, then after graduating, of course, I did not go to work with any corporations. So I continue my entrepreneurial journey went into IT business, then engaging into other corporate and also government agencies and so on until today. There's so many different areas that I'm involved with, and that's why I was called the serial entrepreneur, because I've involved with so many different ventures in the past. Yeah. So basically this year is already 30 years, right? 30 years anniversary of my ventures. Okay, these are some of the areas of expertise that I can cover. All right, all this while through all the experiences that I've gathered. Right, this was me. Right, when this is in 1990. If I'm mistaken, yeah, in 1990 in Section 14 outlet, Petaling Jaya. Right. Okay, this is some of the photos in Section 14, and also at the bottom left, you can see that is basically my outlet at UIA. Yeah, it's a very long counter. We have got so many different things that we offered at UIA, because we do not follow the actual franchise menu, right? Basically, in Dunkin' Donuts, you'll find only donuts and sandwiches. So, but in our outlets, basically we sell many things, many other things for big breakfast all the way until supper. Yeah, our shop outlet starts from 7 a.m. until 1 a.m. Yeah, and our peak hours is actually at 11 p.m. Why? Because at that time our library closed at 11 and everybody was hungry, right? So they will rush to the outlet, because our outlet is the only outlet that opened till late night, right? The rest all closed after dinner time. Okay, so we enjoyed the business, and we sell a lot of different things. We have got fried chicken, burgers, french fries, spaghetti, porridge, even ice cream. We do sell ice cream as well, right? Pancakes and so on. So there's so many choices for the students at that time. Yeah. And if you look at the bottom right, that was my so-called Soho, small office, home office, because I stayed outside in section 17. That's my room and also my office, with a very little cute, well, actually those days was a bulky notebook, right? Maybe you have not seen that before. A very small screen, okay, with white body. Okay, it was a Acer 386 exact. What that was a model that was my first notebook that I purchased during those days. Yeah, so this is a zoom in of that outlet. Okay, so you can see that the workers. We during that time I do have only very few full-time workers, basically about 2 or 3 of them, which is my manager and also supervisors, and the rest are all IIUM students. I got about 20 of them working with me on shift, and they come from different countries, the Indonesia, even China, and of course the Eastern Europe, Kazakhstan, Bosnia, Gohegostan, every countries they're working for me at that time. All right. Okay, it's very interesting, and also for them is besides earning extra income, they also able to learn, not only how to prepare food, but also how to manage a business. Yeah, that's what we do. That we guide them, in terms of cash management, in terms of costing, food costing, and so on. Right, that is very interesting. Okay, upon graduation, yeah. Well, I was involved with the inception of the MSC Malaysia Multimedia Super Corridor in 1997. I basically represented Malaysia. Yes, there was a delegation to Ottawa, Canada. Yep. And during that time, Datuk Sri Najib, very famous personality right now, okay, was the education minister that he represented our prime minister at that time, Tun Mahathir, to be with the delegations, right? So this is where we explore opportunities, partnership with the counterparts in Canada, right? And this was my venture partnership with a company in Australia, all right? So this is where we are partnering into what we call the graphics, multimedia and graphics business, where Silicon Studio, is very famous. In Australia, it was the 6th in the world, where they produce, if you watch movies, I'm not so sure, you have seen like Twister, right? Those are all produced by the Silicon Graphics equipments, or those days we don't use PC for doing multimedia, but we have got special equipments and also computers for that purpose, because of the resources it requires to produce what we call animations. All right, these are some of my journey in IT. We have even introduced cloud computing way back in year 2000. Not year 2020. It's in year 2000 we already have introduced cloud computing, but it was not called cloud computing. It was called ASP, application service provider, and so on, right? But it's still similar, where a legacy apps has been put on the web that the users can access it through the internet. Okay, we built an application for a logistic company called TrackDesk. Right, this is my partnership with the Jabatan Pengurusan Wanita and also an NGO called Wawasanita to help the micro entrepreneurs. You can see that Dr. Mukhris and also some of the big shots are at the back there witnessing the signing ceremony. These are all my students, women entrepreneurs from all over Malaysia. We, basically train them and bring them to the market and so on, right? This is also entrepreneurs from the Felda. This is my engagement with Mara. These are all the Mara directors and so on that I was invited as the consultant to give some views and feedbacks to them, right, on the so-called lab pengkorporatan, BPU, bahagian pembangunan usahawan. Okay, these are some of the students or participants in Penang. I also did team building, still, but since the pandemic, it has been a while, we've not been doing it. All right, on the leadership and team building, this is a team from Alcatel Lucent. I've done many for FedEx, for PSMB, NST, and so on, right? So normally it's like 3 days, 2 nights, outdoors and stuff like that, like what you can see in the picture. We go for whitewater rafting and so on. It's very, interesting activities. Okay, and these are some of the companies that I've done before. All right, so it's a long list. Okay, these are entrepreneurship for women in Sabah, right, through the MyWin Academy. So these are some of the so-called events, activities. On the left, the picture was I was the judge for one of the pitching session, in KL. You can see that these are some of the with Tan Sri Ahmad Musa as well. Okay, these are some of the programs. I just go through quickly. All right, I've done also in 2013 together with Enactus IUM a project to conduct entrepreneurship program for Koperasi Belia Islam Berhad students, nearby. Right, so that was a collaboration. During this time, I was the advisor for Enactus IUM for a short while. Okay, so these are some of my students. Okay, plenty of them. We have done programs for single mothers as well, and so on. All right, for universities, I've done a program called the Mobile Application Academy Entrepreneurship Program for UMAC, University of Malaya. All right, you can see that it was, not a short period program. It's like 6 months program together with the participants, right? So that we help them to learn and also become an entrepreneur to produce mobile apps. Okay, then with UKM SESMAT, I was also the entrepreneur in residence for UKM for 2 years, and during this time I've also conducted a program called Junior Marketing Consultant Training Program, so that the students are able to become marketing consultants, to help out the small businesses, micro businesses, and so on. I've also conducted a BMC workshop for 300 students in UniKL. So these are some of the photos taken. Right, this is with the Mara and so on. These are my consulting work for Mara companies and so on. Right. Yes, and I've also done event management. This is my client DG, right? So we take care or manage their so-called the Malay and emerging market, right? So this is where we go into Felda areas and so on. There's a market acquisitions of stuff like that, right? And I was also a consultant for Surya KLCC way back in early 2000. All right, we look into their CRM, customer management, customer relationship, and so on. Also appointed as a consultant for Avenue K. Then PT Matahari, one of the biggest retail chain in Indonesia, was also appointed me as a consultant for the same purpose on the loyalty program and so on. Yeah, so I've spent a bit of time in Indonesia as well with all these partners working on some projects in the past, right? These are some of the early days that I started my IT business. Even we had what we call this manage or an event called Educom 96 conference exhibition for all the so-called education headmasters and so on based and IT in PWTC. Yeah. And I was also involved in creativity. Yeah. A lot of people may be surprised, but actually this is where we conduct and we provide flower arrangement. Yeah, I've done for 39th ASEAN in ministerial meeting. Yeah, flower arrangement for their convention and conference. Okay, and also Kamala Harun Resorts pre-opening. We were the one who trained the staff to do flower arrangement for the hotels, and also we have done some workshops also at Shangri-La KL. Right, those are some of the things that I've got involved before. All right, so these are some of the contributions I've done, delivered in the past. All right, even we have involved with the Positive Shelter Home for the HIV kids, yeah, to help them with their living. So we train them to do a bit of entrepreneurship programs and so on, right? So I was also a mentor for Technology Park Malaysia, SESMAD, and so on. Yeah. Okay, so I think that's some coverage on the media and so on, and also involved in FMB. Used to have this Roti Boy outlet in Menara Alliance and so on. Right. This is one of my mentee actually, Farida. She's from Coffee for Good. She's doing so-called social enterprise on youth employability through coffee business. Yeah. Okay, so that's a little bit coverage about me. I've not really updated my latest projects and so on, just to share with you how I got started and all the way with some of the business experiences that I've gone through. Okay, so later on, if you do have any questions or whatever, we can you can just ask questions later. All right, so that's all about me at the moment, so that you are aware that the journey that I've gone through for the last 30 years. Okay, and of course now I'm dealing with a couple of companies doing different things, right? Even all the way to selling what we call these fertilizers and so on to the government agencies. Okay, all right, let's go to the real stuff. Okay, are you okay, everybody? Right? Can I have a thumbs up?
Yes, sir.
Good. Right? Good. Okay. Itu baru warm up just warm up baru. Bagi dia excited sikit pagi-pagi ni. Okay. Alright. Now I've attended some of the classes you have gone through for the last 7 weeks, right? So I believe that you had got very good exposure and also knowledge from all the experienced and wonderful speakers, right? I believe that you have got 2 sessions each, right? From the trainer or the lecturers, and also from a guest speaker sharing their knowledge and also experiences. Okay, so I hope that you have gathered a lot. All right, so today's topic more on preparing you to pitch, right? So, but Before that, I believe maybe during the previous sessions, there are certain things has been left out. So today I would like to just to share with you, right? Because it has got to do with the pitching lab data. Okay, so let me start with this slide. Let me see. Okay. Okay, can you see? Boleh tengok
Yes.
Right? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So this topic called awakening the entrepreneur within. All right. So in this topic, I'll be sharing more about entrepreneurship or entrepreneur itself. All right. What it takes for you to become an entrepreneur, and also how do you really look yourself, before you really jump into it. All right. Okay, let me go through this. Okay, the picture that right in front of you is basically it was a program called Tatih Jutawan that I conducted way back in 2014 or 15. I think so, around that time. So these are the students, right? It's a self-paid program, right, for almost 3 months. Okay, so these are the so-called small entrepreneurs that wanted to scale their business. So we created a program called Tatih Jutawan where from there on they will be able to scale and also grow bigger, right? So these are some of the entrepreneurs that dealing with so many different products. Even I've got one lady who I would call the Iron Lady, because her business was totally, normally ladies will not get involved with, which is with the so-called logistic or trucks. Yeah, she provide trucks to the industry. Okay. All right. So these are the objectives. Yeah, when I conduct this kind of classes or training, these are among the objectives that I wanted you to really understand. Right? First is to empower the entrepreneurs. I consider that you are an entrepreneur, right? To empower the entrepreneurs with the entrepreneur mindset, right? That is the most important part, right? You must have that mindset, right? When you are about to get started, okay? If you do not have the right mindset, it's going to be difficult for you to go through your journey, because entrepreneurship is not there's no no end. It's not a destination, it's a journey. You have to keep on moving, right? Okay, so you must know what you want. You must know what you will expect out of it, right? So it's not going to be a smooth ride and stuff like that. So you must have the right mindset to go through all these things. Okay, so this program also to ensure the entrepreneurs start right. All right, so you must start right. A lot of entrepreneurs got started on the wrong footing, and they will face a lot of problems, right, in along the road. Okay, then this is very important, especially when we talk about startups. All right, to assist the entrepreneurs to build a scalable business. Okay, so your business has to be scalable. Yeah, do you understand what scalable means, right? So it has to grow. It has to go better and better and better, right? So go bigger, grow bigger and stuff like that. That's what we call scalable, right? You cannot just like, start a business and it's stagnant for the next 10 years just like that. Okay, that is not a scalable business. Okay, so in order for you to do a scalable business, you must find the right business model, right? You must find the right business to do. Okay, all right, to nurture the entrepreneurs to become real entrepreneurs. Okay, this is something interesting. Why I say real entrepreneurs? Because many people out there, they thought they are an entrepreneur, but they are not. Okay, most of them are just, I would say, a trader, right? Peniaga. Okay, but they are not real entrepreneurs, right? That's a bit different, right? Among the traders or peniaga and entrepreneurs or usahawan. Okay, so later on you will understand what the difference between these two. Okay, So these are among the objectives, right? So you make sure that you know what you are doing, why you are attending this program. Okay, so this is what the intention that we have to make sure that you become one, right? So that is the purpose. It's just not like you just come into the classroom, just like one of the so-called credit hours that you have to complete. No, but this is something that on my end, we are actually scouting for the right individuals who wants to become entrepreneur, then someone that I can nurture, for you to become entrepreneur from IUM, right? Just now, as introduced by our MC, I'm currently the president of the IUM Alumni Entrepreneur Wing, right? So our job is basically to assist and to nurture the entrepreneurship ecosystem on campus in UIA, right? So among the objectives that we have, that particular wing is basically to identify, right, and support entrepreneurship activities in UIA, right? So when we talk about activities, we talk about support the ecosystem, we also need the entrepreneurs, right? Okay, so we will encourage you to become entrepreneur rather than just graduating and looking for jobs out there. And nowadays are tough, right? So you have another alternative where you are able to become your own boss and create jobs, right? Okay. So what I teach is basically how an ordinary people can create an extraordinary business, right? So this is something that from nothing, from zero to hero, basically, right? You can start a business with nothing, with zero capital and so on. This is what we can teach and share with you. Okay, first and foremost, you got to decide and make the commitment, right? So this is very, very important. You got to decide and make the commitment. Okay, like today, you have decided and make the commitment to attend the class to learn how to become an entrepreneur. So that I applaud all of you, right? Congratulations, well done for making that decision and have committed to this program, right? Okay, give applause for everyone. Okay, good. Okay. Okay, if you look at the entrepreneurial mindset, all right, here we have got two types of entrepreneurial mindset. One is the growth mindset and one is the so-called the failure mindset, right? We have a lot of individuals out there have this limiting belief, right, where they cannot succeed because of so many detractors that basically stopping them from becoming successful, right? So they are too complacent, they are always in their comfort zone, fear, ego, limiting belief, and so on. All right, so these are things that stopping them from becoming successful. So in order for you to become a successful entrepreneur, you must have all those traits like what is stated above. You must have the dreams, you must have the passion, you must have the vision, then you must have other things that to support you, to become a very successful entrepreneur. So that's what we call the growth mindset, right? So this one, you can find it on the internet and so on. You can read more. I'm just sharing with you that you must have that qualities to become an entrepreneur. Okay, and these are some of the steps I'm not going to share with you today. So basically, there are steps for you to have the right mindset. Okay, the 5 realities of the entrepreneur. Okay, when you talk about entrepreneur compared to business person ataupun traders, right? So entrepreneur is an inventor. You create something, right? You create something from nothing. Okay, so that's entrepreneur, right? If you talk about just a business person, right, a trader, you don't create anything. You're just trading, right? You're just taking a product from somebody else and you reselling it. So that is trading, right? So you need to differentiate that, right? So entrepreneurs do not buy business opportunities, they create them, right? So invention is contagious. Yeah, it always create something new, all right? And also it evolves, okay? And to the entrepreneur, the success, right, of the invention, Business is measured by growth, right? So that is the most important. That's why we say just now, scalable business, right? Because you want to grow. So if your business has growth, then you are able to see that will scale a lot bigger. All right. So we can see a lot of businesses out there, how they scale and how they grow big, and some of them gone very, very, very big. Okay, I believe that all of you have subscribed to or used the service of Grab, right? Okay, I just want to ask you, any one of you here, just type in the chat, what was the name of Grab before they were famous? When they got started, what was their name? What was they known as? Siapa boleh jawab? Anyone? Nobody? Siapa? Wow, Uber? That was a US company, was taken over by Grab in this region. Yeah, Uber sold their company to Grab, yeah, for their business in this Southeast Asia region. So now there's no more Uber in Malaysia or in this part of the world. All right. Okay. Siapa lagi? Come on. Give it a try. I give you a hint, right? Dia ada bunyi-bunyi Melayu sikit. Nobody knows what Grab was known before. You know that Grab is a Malaysian company, right? Okay. Even though now it's considered as a Singaporean-based company, but it was born in Malaysia, all right? Nearby, okay? It's not second dekat Segambut kot. It's not Segambut pun Selayang, very nearby only, all right? So it was known as, tak ada no more all right. Anis, Nasdaq, yes, I know. They just, got listed in Nasdaq recently, right? That's why I want to share with you about them. Yes, Nolisa, My Taxi, betul. All right. They were known as My Taxi. Okay. All right. So, when they got started, they are just a small startup. Okay. So they were known as My Taxi. Then our government helped them with the funding through Cradle, right? So Cradle Fund. Okay, so from there on, they move on and they scale. They got other partners. They got other investors to invest into their company until they became Grab. They became big. All right, so they focus initially only on the e-hailing. Then later on, they move into food and also into the payment business, right? So they became very, very huge in this particular region. And we can be proud of them, right? Being a Malaysian, all right? And recently, they have just listed the company Nasdaq for a value of 40 billion USD. That is the value of the company, right? So you just imagine from just a small company building the apps for the so-called e-hailing business, okay, raising fund. So if I'm mistaken, from Cradle, they only managed to raise like, maybe 500,000 ringgit, right? So Cradle does not have big funds at that time. Only 150, 300,000, 500,000 for startups, right? So that's how they got started. And today they are very, very huge. Yeah. So even they cannot list in Malaysia because Malaysian Bursa Saham is not big enough for them. Okay. All right. So that's why they have to go to Nasdaq to list so that they are able to raise a huge amount of money. Okay. Wow, I have problem with my navigating. Cannot see my cursor. Never mind. Okay, let me go through next. Okay, so at least you have learned something there, right? A little bit of history of the lost unicorn of Malaysia, because we are supposed to have our first unicorn in Malaysia through Grab, but we lost it to Singapore. All right. So, but fortunately, lately, just recently, we have just got our first unicorn. Siapa tahu? Siapa unicorn daripada Malaysia? You tahu apa unicorn tak? Do you know what does unicorn means? Siapa tahu what is unicorn means? No. All right. So you're talking about startups. You're talking about pitching for funds and so on. You must be able to know what unicorn is all about. Okay, unicorn is a company that has a valuation of, or reached its valuation of 1 billion USD and above, right? So once the company has been valued at 1 billion, it is called unicorn. Okay, but since that there's so many companies now has gone beyond that, so there's also other terms has been coined, such as decacorn, hectacorn, and so on, right? So that one you'll learn later, but it's just as you know what is unicorn is good enough, because Malaysia cannot produce many unicorns at the moment. But recently we have just got one. Anybody know siapa? Which company? May I guess? I think you can see some advertisement also lately, right? They just managed to raise some big funds, and they started to also promote it heavily. And I've known this company for quite some time. When they got started, they are very small. All right, I do not know whether they were able to so-called survive, but they made it. They really scaled, and today they became a first Malaysian unicorn. Have you heard of a company called Carsome? Carsome. Carsome. Carsome is a company doing what? Buying and selling cars. So let's say if you want to sell your car, you can just go to Carsome, they check and they buy straight away from you. Done. All right. So then you can also buy the car from Carsome as well. And it's already been so-called done a full inspection and so on before you purchase from them. All right. So this has been a very, very good business model for them, and they scaled very, very well, and they became our first unicorn. Right. Likewise, in Indonesia, in India, they have got plenty of unicorns. I think in India, they are targeting more than 100 unicorns by 2025. Of course, in Indonesia, they have got plenty of them, like Gojek, Bukalapak, and so on. These are all the unicorns in Indonesia. Why Indonesia can easily have unicorns? Because they have got huge, what we call this? Huge population, right? Even a simple company just doing a simple software for small businesses, right? It can become a unicorn, all right? Even they can have 6 million customers, all right, subscribing to their services. So that is totally different. So there's a reason why Malaysia is too small. So if you want to go big, you have to go out of Malaysia. Okay, this is something very so-called interesting things for you to learn. What we call the entrepreneurial personality. All right. So every person, must have this personality in order for you to become a very, very successful entrepreneur. But I believe that not everyone will have these traits in them. So we call it D, T, S, and L. Okay. Anybody can make a guess or not? What is D? Apa itu D? If you are an entrepreneur, what do you need? You punya apa tu? Dominant? No. First thing first, being an entrepreneur. First thing first. Diligence, determination, discipline. Come on. Sikit lagi. Come on. More. Where the very first thing you want to become an entrepreneur, you must have what? Direction. Alia, dream. Yes, correct. Okay, when you want to start a business, right? You want to become an entrepreneur, you must have a dream, a big dream, right? So, a big dream. So you must become what? You must be a dreamer, right? So you must be a dreamer. So that is the first so-called traits that you must have, right? In order for you to become an entrepreneur. Okay. So besides that, we have what? T. So you also must possess this quality, these traits, right? So it must be in you. You must have that personality. So what is T? So you already have the dream. So you must what? Trust. No. Apa lagi? Come on. Try. Thinker. Yes, correct. Ame. Well done. All right. So you must be a thinker. Right. This is very, very important part because this is the one who will drive the business. Right. Okay. You must be a thinker. All right. Okay. Not bad. Next. S. S not for Shamsul. Okay. You must be a dreamer. You must be a thinker. So next is what? What you must be good at. All right. What is S? These are 4 personality or traits that is very, very important. If a person has all these 4, then it's wonderful. Sociable, okay. No. All right. Dia dah dekat-dekat tu, tapi something else. Smart. There has to be somebody good at what? You must be good at talking. Apa dia? Socializing. Socialize. Okay. When you have a dream, right, then you have a thinker that put things together, right? Your ideas and so on. You need to what? Shout it out, right? Seller. You don't sell yet, but you have to tell the story, okay? The ideas to people, to investors and so on, right? So you must be what? A storyteller. What I normally say, I call penglipu lara, right? So you must be a good storyteller, right? To sell your ideas, to sell your business and so on, okay? So once you have all these 3, you need another one to grow your company, to make sure that the company is stable, right? To bring it to the right direction. So what is L? Apa yang selalu ada? Leader, right? So leadership, right? Leaders is one of the key personality or traits that you must have in an entrepreneur. Okay. Well done. All right. So you make good guesses here. Okay, so you got it? The 4 dimensions of the entrepreneurial personality. You have the dreamer, the thinker, the storyteller, and the leader. Okay, why I'm sharing this is basically, you must understand that not everyone will have all this personality. Okay, you may be a dreamer, but you are not the thinker, right? You may be both, but you are not a storyteller. You are introvert, you cannot talk, you cannot share, and so on, right? Very malu-malu, okay? So you will not complete this as well if you are not a storyteller, right? You are not able. So it means that all your ideas will be kept to yourself. You're not going to tell to others and so on, right? Even you have got all these 3, if you are not a leader, also the company or your dreams and whatever are not able to go well, right? In the market and so on. Okay, so what you need is basically to find the combination, complementary to complete this, right? Okay, so I always share with my entrepreneurs that when you start a business, you must have team, right? You must have co-founders. Why? Because you are not able to do this alone, right? You must have all these complementing so-called skill sets, personalities, to make it a perfect one, right? So kat sini, how many of you here? Which one you are? Can you share? Who is dreamer? Siapa dreamer kat sini? Anis. Wow. So you have got a lot of ideas. Huh? So you are a dreamer. Anybody else? A dreamer? Alia? Okay. Siapa thinker? Thinker ni someone that really thinks a lot. They put the puzzle together. They are the strategies. Wow, Alia. Okay, dreamer and also thinker as well. Okay. What about the rest? Siapa lagi? N siapa N? N. Tak tahu apa nama dia. N je. So the rest, they are not sure what you are. You must identify your strength. These are all among the strengths that you have in you in order for you to become an entrepreneur. Okay. All right. Okay, let's move on. Okay. So who is the dreamer? The one who has the purpose, right? Not daydreaming. Bukan orang apa daydreaming. So you must have what it takes to have a big ideas, big dreams, right? So these are the things that you normally do as a dreamer lah, basically. Okay, and sometimes when you got an idea, you don't know what to do, right? Then you go and look for a thinker, right? So the thinker is the one to dia, right? Normally got idea while doing his job. Okay, so the dreamers, right? Most important so-called apa dipanggil ni? Kawan, companion. So he's the one that will think the dreamers punya ni and put that into the reality. Okay, so sometimes the dreamer ni the idea je ada, right? He only got the idea but do not know how to put it together, right? So these are the person that put the puzzle together. Okay, of course, storyteller, when he understand the so-called the dreamers vision, right? And also the thinker's formulation, he will start talking about it. He will start to shout it out to the public, talking to people and so on about the great idea, about the great stories and so on, right? So we need this kind of people, right? The storytellers. And of course, the leader, right? So this is the person who get the thing moving, all right? So possesses the passion of the dreamer, the intellect of the thinker, and the joy of the storyteller. So this person must have all this together bind it, and bring it forward. All right. So you need to look for all these qualities. If you don't have it, find it in other person and bring them together. And that is what we call the startups, right? Bring together the founding team to get the ideas flowing and to execute the ideas, right? Okay, I'm going to move faster now. All right. So the ASK methodology, this is normally a simple methodology that I shared to all my entrepreneurs, that you must have all these three to be successful. All right. So why do you go to university? So basically, you are acquiring knowledge, right? So, but knowledge alone is not enough. You must have the skill sets. All right. You must be skillful in whatever you do. But to me, most importantly is the attitude. All right. So the attitude contributes 80%, right? 80% of your success, right? You may have tons of knowledge, right? You are very skillful. Yeah, I've got so many of my entrepreneurs are very skillful, yeah, in making, like the auntie, machi, right? They make good kueh, good cookies, a lot of them. But unfortunately, they may lack the knowledge, the business knowledge, right? So their business cannot grow, right? So they end up just producing good products, but they cannot market it and so on, right? Sometimes their attitude also is not right for being an entrepreneur, right? So they have to be, so-called trained and also guided for them to become a real entrepreneur. Okay, so what it takes here, if you look at the diagram, okay, so knowledge are those normal things that you learn, right? Like today, you are acquiring new knowledge, right? But at the same time, you must polish your skills, your interpersonal skills, your communication skills, reasoning, time management, especially. Today, we waited for how many minutes to start our event? By right, all of you should be in 10 minutes, at least 10 minutes before we begin, right? So this is also attitude, skills that you have to polish, all right? And goal setting, you must have goal setting, right? Like today, now it's December, you must already set your goals for 2022, what to achieve and so on. Being a student, what you want to achieve in terms of your CGPA, in your co-curriculum activities, and of course, if you got involved in business, what do you want to achieve in business, right? So, and of course, the attitude-wise, this is where you have to also ensure you have all these positive traits, right? The self-motivation, self-confidence, integrity, honesty, optimism, enthusiasm, and so on, right? So these are all very, very important, okay? Okay, so if you want to be successful, change your attitude, right? So if you feel that you are not good enough today, you change it, you will somehow reflect your actions, behaviors, and so on, right? So it starts with your thinking. If you think positive, you will straight away change the rest of your other behaviors and so on. All right, I will skip this. I think a lot of people have seen this before. Okay, all right, this is just advice from Jim Rohn. If you know Jim Rohn, all right, a very, very famous motivator. Okay, it's also one of my guru. Right, so maybe you can also start reading books from Jim Rohn, John C. Maxwell, and so on. Right, so these are also books that you should read for your personal growth. Okay, I'm not going to cover this. Basically, this is one of the topic that I normally cover so-called in detail, but I just go through quickly with you so that you understand when you want to start a business. When I mentioned just now that you can start a business without anything like zero capital and so on, this is also one way that you can understand how that you can start a business without a single cent, where you can leverage on other people's, okay, look at this effectual thinking, or I would say effectuation in action is actually a model from a professor in US, okay, Professor Saraswati, Saraswati, all right, and what they try to share with you is basically the way how you think, right? Between managerial thinking and also that and entrepreneurial thinking. Okay, so an entrepreneurial thinking, where when you are given means, yeah, resources, you think, you know, you are able to produce multiple results, yeah, and results. All right. Well, likewise, if you you are a managerial thinking or coastal thinking, if you are given means or resources, you only focus on one particular goals or end, right? So this is the way, different ways of thinking, right? Normally, entrepreneur will think differently, right? So one resources, they are able to have multiple outcomes, right? So this is how entrepreneurs normally think. Okay, so how to become a successful entrepreneur? All right, so just understand this, right? Read loudly. Given who I am, what I know, and whom I know, what kind of entrepreneur could I become? What kind of entrepreneurial activities could I pursue? And what kind of enterprise could I create? All right, the keyword here is basically who I am, what I know, and whom I know, right? These are the three things, right? So you must know yourself, who you are, all right, and what you know, and whom you know. So dekat Malaysia, that is also very, very important, right? You must know people around you to be successful in business, right? Okay, these are all the principles. I'm not going to go through because we don't have much time on this. Just want to share with you. Okay, this is the flow, right? Maybe we have got other time in the future we can share more in details. Okay, I just want to share with you this interesting case study, and this case study has been shared in also MBA classes in many universities. Okay, any one of you have came across this brand, Frytech? Okay, Frytech, maybe tak Okay, it used to be available dekat apa dia dulu, Robinsons di Four Seasons, tapi dah tutup, right? It's closed already, right? So this brand was discovered, I mean, say basically produced by two brothers, right? Two brothers, by just an incident where they saw an opportunity right in front of their apartment, where there are two instances where one is they saw a lot of trucks, right? A lot of trucks passing by with a canvas covering the trucks, like the containers, all right? Some are new, some are old. And another instance where they saw this, what we call the documents boy, right? Okay, the messenger, right? The messengers, they normally cycle, right, with the messenger bag. But unfortunately, those bags are not waterproof. Okay, so what happened is that they got an idea. See, this is the idea, right? They got an idea. Why not we help them to find a solution, right? The problem was those messengers are carrying non-waterproof bags, right? So when it rains, when it's snowing, there's a problem, with the bags, right? So what happened is that they saw the canvas. They said, this canvas is covering the lorry, right? The trucks. Why not we use those unwanted, which is already been discarded, right? For us to create or to do a nice bags which is waterproof for these messengers, right? So what they did, they look for, of course, they go and collect all those unwanted canvas. Then they look for someone who can clean up the canvas, and then also to cut the canvas, right? So one that's done, they also need to find someone who can sew the canvas. So this is becomes a project. So they managed to find all those partners, the components to make the bag. So they do not need to have their own, facilities, their own resources. They just need to look for all these partners and components to create the dream that they have, thought of, right? So by completing that, they managed to produce a bag called Freitag. Okay, so the early days, this bag used to be the messenger bag for those messenger boys, right? But later on, it has become a bag. What I can say is a luxury bag. Okay, macam Louis Vuitton. Okay, right? Because a small purse alone from this so-called unwanted canvases can cost you 400 ringgit, 500 ringgit. Back a few thousand ringgit, right? But you just imagine, do you use this, bags made of this canvas? Yes, people buy them, right? So it became a business, and very big business, right? Just by having this idea and started with nothing, right? So this is what I always like to share, this case study, so that you can think of anything around you, right? That you can create a business out of it, all right? I always share also, this is very close to you, where sometimes you may not know, but there's a lot of things around you which is freely available that you can make business out of it. Okay, siapa tahu daun ketapang? Sorry, I do not know the name is in English, but tahu tak pokok ketapang? Pokok ketapang, daun dia tu besar-besar, very big, alright? And sometimes you find that by the roadside, right? Just like all over the places. But actually, for those who know this, they will collect, right? They will collect that leaves and they will sell on eBay, right? Why? They sell online because a lot of aquarium owners would love to buy that particular leaves, right? Why? Because it will be able to help the what we call this, the aquarium, right? The longevity of the fish, the cleanliness of the aquarium water, and so on. So somehow the leaves help, right? So maybe you can do a bit of research, daun ketapang, pokok daun ketapang, okay? And that is actually is well sought after by aquarium owners, right? Or traders, okay? So that's some little knowledge there. So there's so many other things that you can think of, right? Something that you can make it as a business as well, okay? All right, being a student, I would like to highlight you this. I learned this quite late, right? But if you learn about this concept by Robert Kiyosaki. Pernah dengar Robert Kiyosaki tak? Any of you? Have you came across? No?
That for that.
Huh? Yes,
No.
correct. Rich Dad Poor Dad, Cash Flow Quadrant. Those are the books that he wrote. All right. Okay, it's good to read some of those. And this is one of the concept that he taught as well on the cash flow quadrant. Okay, when you graduated, right? What do you do normally? Go to work, right? Okay, you look for a job and you work. So you became an employee. Okay, so you will work there for few years and so on. Still the same, that you will only have some increment every year and so on. But basically, you are actually trading your time for money. All right, there's no leverage. Okay, so whatever 8 hours, 9 hours you work, that's what you get. All right. Then maybe some of you trying to venture into business, or maybe you start your own company, right? And some like lawyers and so on, they started their own firm and stuff like that, right? Accountants, they start their own accounting firm, okay? Or maybe you wanted to be your own boss, you also start your own, small kiosks and so on, all right? So, but you are doing it yourself, all right? Okay, so this is also, you are trading the time for money. All right, so you are called self-employed. Okay, so you are on the left quadrant basically. Okay, so this is where you work, you got your income. You no work, no income. Showroom is. All right. Okay, so if let's say you fall sick for 1 week, there's no income coming into your pocket. Am I right? Okay, so What we want is basically to move from the left quadrant to the right quadrant. Okay, so the right quadrant is where the first is where you are the business owner. All right. So B is business owner, where you own a system, right? You have people working for you. Okay. So you have these people making money for you. It's not that you makes money, but the people is making money for you. Right. So this is what we call job creation. You create the jobs. So this is what the government been telling right now. They want you to become an entrepreneur to create jobs so that you will hire people working for you, and these people will be making money for you. All right. So you put in a system. Let's say macam franchise, McDonald's, KFC, Starbucks. All these are big businesses there where they have system in place. They have employees working for them. And sometimes you go to Starbucks, you go to, okay lah, let's say McD, McDonald's. You go to McD, but you don't even know who is the owner, right? Who was the founder of McD? Betul tak? How many of you? Any one of you here knows who is the founder of McD? Siapa? Who is the owner or the founder of McD? Tak tahu kan? Mungkin ada yang tahu lah. No? Okay. If you want to know, last time, the founder of McD only sells apa tu? Milkshake machine, right? Before he bought over a company from his friend, and he started that McD. Okay. Nama dia siapa? Nama dia Ray Kroc. Okay. Ray Kroc was the one who, started McDonald's. Okay, and he started not when he was young. He's already, I think 50 plus, right? With also some health problems, but he managed to create the business to become a giant today, right? Okay, so that is the target that we wanted you to become what we call this business owner, right? And then once you have made money, this is the highest level where you become investor, right? You have tons of money, but having a lot of money but do not have knowledge also will be a problem. You will not be investing, right? So you burn a lot of your resources or money, right? So you must have knowledge. So you become an investor where you invest into business, you invest into shares, you invest into any other investment tools like properties and so on. So this is where money makes money, right? So just now you talk about people making money for you. Now your money is making money for you, right? So this is where you can go for holidays for 1 month, still the money makes money for you, right? Your bank account is still going to be filling up with money every day and then, all right? So that's why a lot of people say, hey, why? How come these people not working, right? No, because they are not working anymore, because the money is working for them, right? So tiap malam, every night they can hear, kaching, in their ears, right? So these are the people who are already free. This is what we call financial freedom, right? You are free from all these so-called the trouble of going out to look for money, right? So because the money is already making money for them. That's why we can see a lot of people out there, the rich becomes richer, right? And the poor becomes poorer because of the inflation and so on. Cost of living is increasing, so but income is not, right? So they become poorer. But these people, the rich people, are become richer because the money, the value, the property value and so on keep on increasing as the time flies. Okay, so I hope you understand this. So learn about this quadrant and ask yourself, right? Where do you want to be? Okay. Kalau kat atas you tengok, up there there's a small wording says, I would rather earn 1% of 100 people's effort than 100% of my own efforts, right? So let's say you work 9 hours a day. So there's 100% coming from yourself. But if you have 100 people working for you, right? So if you earn 1%, also you can earn more than what you earn by yourself. Am I right? So these are also, you know, the concept of people doing MLM, multi-level or direct selling are also employing this. Why? Because other people's are making money for you. So there's a concept called other people's money, other people's time, other people's effort, other people's work, and so on. OP, right? So you must leverage in your life. Okay. Okay, a little bit about startup. All right, I think you have heard a lot about startups, right? Startup this, startup that. So we have got Magic also focusing on startups. We have got so many accelerators, and recently also baru-baru, I think 1 day ago, the government has came up with their startups, what we call this blueprint, yeah, roadmap, and so on. All right. So that is also something that the government is putting very, very high interest on, because they know that the startups will contribute a lot to the GDP in the future. All right. So they are also putting very, very so-called high focus on this. And we also want our university students to become startups, right? Not after they graduated, but while they are still in the university, they have started something with the ideas, right? You may come from different faculties. It doesn't have to be those only in the business or economics faculty that do business, right? You may come from engineering, you may come from medical or any other faculties, but you can start a business, a startups, right? So what is startups? So basically, a definition of a startup is an organization dedicated to creating something new under conditions of extreme uncertainty. You see, because it's very uncertain. So that's why when you talk about startups, right, you're not so sure where are you heading, right? You're not so sure how much money are you going to burn and so on. So that's why it says extreme uncertainty, right? This is one of my business guru, okay, Steve Blank. All right. So he's basically the startup guru. And according to his definition, because normally there's so many people talk about startups and they always think that startup is a small business. But actual fact, it is actually, you know, it's a big thing, all right? A startup is a big thing, but they started small, all right? So that's why, according to Steve Blank, it says startup is a temporary organization designed to search for a repeatable and scalable business model, right? So while the small business runs according to the fixed business model, because small business, they will remain small. But startups, they start small, but actually they are looking for the right business model. They are looking for the repeatable, scalable business model to go big. That's what happened to Grab, right? They start small, MyTaxi, then eventually they go very, very big to become what Grab today, right? So there are so many other startups in the market as well, right? I've got one of my friends, if you heard of this company called Slurp, that doing a POS system for F&B company. Well, they also started small, all right, just doing one application, but now they are already expanding their business and empowering all the Petronas petrol station. If you go to petrol station now, you go to Mesra, the POS system belongs to them. They are the one who install it, right? And also the terminal at the pump also has been upgraded using their terminal, right? And with this, they are also going global, right? They have got already some interest from so-called international market like US and so on, you know, to deploy their solution as well. You see? So they started small, but they are looking for the right, you know, repeatable and scalable business model to go big, right? So this is also some of the example. Okay. So there are 6 types of so-called startups. Okay. So we have got lifestyle startups. Okay. This so-called just an individual just wanted to start something, right? So this is what we call lifestyle. They will not go big, right? Small business startups, right? So normally it's run by family, family owned, right? So we have got the scalable startup, that what I'm talking just now, something that we want to look at, right? Buyable startup is something that someone started the business for them to sell, to exit and get cash. They set up this business, but their aim is to sell to big companies, right? And of course, there's also large company startups. Large company startup is just like Asia Digital. You heard of Asia Digital, right? So they came up with Asia Right, Asia this and Asia that, whatever. So during the pandemic, their airlines are grounded. They cannot fly. Their revenue dropped tremendously, but they have to do something. So they created that Asia Digital. Now the Asia Digital is contributing a lot, but these startups are actually started by a big company, right? So that is also considered as a startup. And another one is a social startup, like just like what one of my mentee did with Coffee for Good, right? So that is a social enterprise, right? To help out, to give impact to the community, right? So you can choose which startups that you want to be, but what we are looking at is basically the scalable startups. We want you to start small and to grow big, right? So this is what we are looking at. Okay, so startup or entrepreneur, what is the difference? Startup has no marketplace. When they started, they only have idea. They don't have anything else, right? They don't have customers yet. They don't have any even inquiries, and they don't even have money, right? But they have the idea. So this is startup. But for entrepreneur, they already have all these things. They have the marketplace, they have got customers, they have got customer inquiries, and also they have already invested, and they have got the fund already invested into the business, right? So this is the difference between startup and the entrepreneur that already in the market. Okay, so later on you're talking about pitching, right? So when you want to pitch, this is the things what you are pitching for, because you pitch for funding for your business, right? So when you got an idea, you're at the ideation stage. So we call it the pre-seed stage. You only pitching your what? Your proof of concept or prototype, right? So you need to hire more people at that time. So you don't have the money, right, to do your software and stuff like that. So you need to raise fund. Normally in this stage, you are raising between 10,000 to 1 million, all right, maximum. All right, right now we have got so-called ECF, equity crowdfunding, where you can raise funds, from 200,000-300,000 all the way up to 5 million, right? So this is normally the pre-seed stage, right? So I've got a few friends doing that. Atta Plus, Pitch In, they are doing very well in helping the startups, the entrepreneurs to raise funds through their so-called equity crowdfunding platform, right? So normally equity crowdfunding platform is approved by the Security Commission, right? So no issue with the collecting of funds and so on. All right. So after the pre-seed, then only you go or you move on to what they call the Series A, where you need more money for you to grow. You need to increase your overheads, your manpower, your marketing, your branding, and so on. Then you may need more, up to 10 million, maybe. All right. So that is where Series A is all about. You will invite more investors to come in to invest in your company, right? Of course, Series B will go bigger. All right. All right. So this is the stage where normally the phases that gone through by many startups, even like Grab before. Okay. Okay, this is Mekapan. Why I want to share with you about Mekapan is that Mekapan, I know them personally. They are actually a startup from Indonesia. They have about, I think, 4 or 5 founders, co-founders, led by Naula Kamila. All right. So these people are actually young graduates. They graduated from their university, then they started their own business. All right. So what they did was they have an idea, right, to build a platform for the wellness and beauty businesses. All right. So what they did, they go and talk and pitch, to all their the industry players. So they managed to convince about 450 salon owners, wellness centers, and so on to be with them. All right. to be on their platform. But at that time, they do not have the platform yet. They just only have the idea. So they came to Malaysia and talked to my friend Elaine from Atta Plus, and they managed to raise their first round of funds of 300,000 ringgit through the equity crowdfunding with Atta Plus. All right. So cut the story short, today they already managed to raise a few rounds of funds, and they are going into their Series A funds very, very soon. You see or not? You know, a very young entrepreneurs like this from university are able to raise funds like that if you have got great and brilliant ideas, right? So before the pandemic, before the lockdown, I met with them, right? This is the founders, okay? They have a good, strong, a young, talented, so-called founders, co-founders that is driving the company, right? And now they are doing quite well, very well actually, in Indonesia, based in Jakarta. They have got about 30 employees right now working for them. Okay. All right. So this is one of the example of startups. The other one is my own student, Surya Effendi. This gentleman is basically was a government servant. All right. And the wife was my student actually. Then only he came in as my student. All right. The wife started by selling toys for children. They imported from China, and the husband also doing part-time a business, bringing entrepreneurs to Guangzhou. All right, for borong or wholesale. Okay, but after that, going through from training and also coaching with me, so they have pivot their business. All right, they go into technology. So they started with the Umori brand of handphone accessories, which is also available in Petronas, Mesra, and so on. But recently, they have also they are very hungry for something big, so they have partnered with Nano Malaysia in developing and building what we call the Umori the super battery using graphene nanotechnology. Because now we are talking about EV, right? We're talking about electric cars, electric motorcycles, and so on. So this is the direction. So they already managed to raise about 15 million loan from the government. Now they are raising another 5 to 10 million, from the public, right? Okay, so story about this guy is basically they also started small, right? What I mentioned just now, they learned how to pitch. I remember the first time they pitched was for PUNB competition, right? The next day, tomorrow is the pitching. Today they came to see me asking for help. I said, what can you do for only a day before, right? You cannot come up with a nice pitch deck and so on, right? So I recommended them to just use a business model canvas, BMC, for them to present during the pitch, right? So they went through 2-3 hours of brainstorming with me in Starbucks in Wan Samaju. All right, and the next day they went in for the pitch, and Alhamdulillah, with the little preparation, they won top 10, and they got 10,000 ringgit from PUNB. So that was their initial experience of pitching. After that, they became an expert of pitching. All right, they have won not only once but twice. Even some people difficult to win one, but they won twice superb grant, right? Under different company. One was under their Umori, they won 500,000. Then the second one, they also won again for the graphene technologies, all right, for another 500,000. So they got twice, yeah. Of course, they use different names, husband and wife, separate names on a different competition, all right. But basically, they have raised easily 1 million just from that particular competition, right? So this guy has become a very expert in pitching. So somebody that you need to learn from, right? So this is the husband and wife, Surya Effendi and Shazwin. Shazwin is the wife. And next to me, also one of my students, He's an entrepreneur of the fried shallots, Nuha Food. All right, started by the brand of Saudagar Bawang, but now his brand is called Nuha. Yeah, it's very, very premium, very nice shallots, and he has also gone into other ready-to-eat products, right? Nasi lemak, rendang, and so on retort. Okay, so this also another very, very good entrepreneur that started small. Right now, they becoming quite big, and also has exported his bawang goreng, shallots, fried shallots to Japan. Right, he has got a partner in Japan. All right, that's interesting, right? You start small, but you can go very, very big. Okay, so this is just a diagram to see where you are. Of course, when you are a startup, you are just at the discovery stage. You are still early, so you need some funding for you to get started, right? And of course, to make sure that you have the MVP, the minimum viable product to show, or the prototype to show to your future investor. Okay, all right, before you can go into the market. All right, so entrepreneurship has got its own, flow cycle, right? You need to understand what to do in this level 1, level 2, and level 3, what we call the game of entrepreneurship, right? Like today, I'm just going through a bit of the self-discovery. You need to know some of the traits and so on. Then you must identify your business first, right? Then getting the right business model, then identifying your solutions. Before that, you must know the problems, right? Then you offer, right? What are your solutions to the market, right? Then only you come up with your complete business plan, right? Then you have to gather your resources, your key assets, your team, right? You need to have your founding teams and so on. Make sure your financial is in place, right? You must have that proper, okay, and so on. So then only you talk about your branding, your marketing, and so on. Okay, then you must monitor all these things, track and measure. Something went wrong, you have to go through again and relook, reiterate, and so on. Right? It's all a whole process. Okay, and we teach this to our entrepreneurs. All right. Okay. All right. All right. Before I go into the pitching, I go through quickly on this because how I be successful in my business also because of this, what we call the power of leverage. You need to leverage in whatever you want to achieve. Okay, right? So leverage equals speed. You want to achieve something fast, you must leverage, right? You have $1 million dream, you must leverage, right? So just like this lever, right? You must have a force to push it down to achieve the dreams. Okay, so how you do it? Basically, there are some elements that you need to take into account. All right. Okay. Look at it. Make sure that in order for you to become a successful entrepreneur, you must have all this. First, you must have a mentor. All right. Someone to guide you. Someone experienced. Someone has gone through all the hardship. Right. These people will be able to assist you. Right. So that if Malay says that you tak akan langgar dinding, right? You won't knock the walls. Okay. Then you must have a dream team. Right? I call it a dream team, a founding team to start with, right? A good team which can complement each other. That's the reason why I told you just now. All right. You are not a superhero. You don't have all the traits. You don't have the dreamer, the thinker, the storyteller, and also the leaders punya traits or personalities. You must have other people to complement you. All right. Then you must have good, strong network. Okay. So this is also will help you in your business. Anywhere you go, right? You must have the network. All right. Infinite network means your relationship with your creator. Yeah, dengan Allah SWT, with God. All right. You must have that as well to ensure that you are, on a strong footing all the time. All right. Then you must have the right skills and tools. Yeah, right skills and tools to become successful. Last and but not least, you must put in place systems. That's why we have SOP. Apa itu SOP? Standard operating procedure, right? In any businesses, you must have SOPs, right? So system must be in place, right? In order for you to run your business smoothly. So this is what we call the power of leverage, right? So I have all these leverages, partners, friends, and so on to help me, right? Mentors, right? rupa mendekat sama, perut mendekat besar sama. Alright, okay. Alright, this is Tony Fernandez. Okay. So these are the people that, although you don't see him often, but once a while, if you manage to catch him, right, get the right information, talk to him, get some advice and so on, right? This is very extreme entrepreneur. He called himself, if I call myself serial entrepreneur, this guy is an extreme entrepreneur. Why extreme? He does extreme things, right? You do solar farm on the land, dia buat solar farm dekat space, all right? So he gathered all the scientists all over the world from China, India, US, and so on, Russia, based in Dubai. But I do not know how he do it, but he's doing a solar farm in the space and channel the energy back to Earth, right? That's what he's doing, right? This is Robert Riopel, T. Harv Eker punya, T. Harv Eker's, protege, right? I learned from him as well. All right, he used to be, I think, if not mistaken, a bus driver or or a truck driver, right? Before, right? These are my network, my team from Indonesia and also Singapore, right? Two guys from the extreme left and right from Indonesia, and next to me, Mr. Lim Boon Seng from Singapore, Sony Singapore. This is during my project in Indonesia, Jakarta, right? These are my mentor and also my business partner during my project at Sogo a few years back, right? This is also a good friend and also a so-called startups accelerator expert based in Silicon Valley, Ben Levy. If you do not want to go into business, you can also go into badminton. I've got Chia Soon Kit next to me. Right, so these are friends and networks that you must have with you, right? And I had an opportunity. This is very, very priceless, where I met with Nick Vujicic. Do you know who is Nick Vujicic? Right, so I met him some time ago. All right, where during the what we call this. The National Achievers Congress in 2014. I was a VVIP during that time, so they got, allow me to meet up with Nick Vujicic in person, right? Okay, so these are very, very important for you to prepare yourself to become an entrepreneur, all right? So I will skip this. Okay, this is basically one of the topics that I will be covering in masterclass. Right, so this is something that very, very important. You can master this, you can master your business, right? Without doubt. Okay. Stop. All right, coming to end of these slides before I go into another slides. Okay. This is a message from Jack Canfield. All right. So very simple steps for you to become successful in business and also in life. I've practiced this and achieved quite a number of time, very, very, so-called successful outcomes, right? First, you must make a decision, all right? Then you must visualize. How do you visualize? You have to start thinking of it, visualizing it. One of the way, if let's say you want to have something, you just paste it on your ceiling or anywhere you can see before you go to sleep and also after you wake up from sleep, all right? Then you study to be successful from by reading books, right? And of course, find successful people and getting advice and knowledge from them. So these are some simple steps, right? Simple steps that you can be very, very successful if you can practice right now from, while you're on campus, okay? All right, so this is the end of my this so-called slides for this one. Okay, I'm moving faster now to my next slide. Let me see. Okay, we are moving into the pitching, right? Okay, I've already covered. Okay, let's take a 5-minute break before I move on to the pitching, because the pitching one is just a framework for you to prepare for your pitch deck, right? So let's take a 5-minute break. What time is now? Okay, we start again at 11. Okay? Okay, boleh pergi toilet kejap ke, nak minum ke apa? Okay, we'll come back at 11. Thank you. Okay, is everybody back?
Yes.
Okay, I hope everyone is back from a quick break. Okay, now we have got another half an hour. I will go through with you the components on the pitching lab. All right. Of course, after this, I will also share with you the framework so that you can bring it back and also do your homework. All right. So basically, because you need to prepare that for next week. Okay. So even though it's only 1 week, normally it will take longer than that. But I hope that you are able to come up with something before our next session next week. Okay. All right. Shall I begin the pitching lab session? Okay. Basically, you're talking about pitching lab is a workshop, right? A workshop we normally do half a day, 1 day for you to understand how to prepare a pitch deck. All right. So just now I've gone through with you some of the understanding on startups. So why do you need a pitch deck and why do you need a pitching? Because you need to raise funds, right? So that is the purpose. So whatever that you have been learning and whatever not, towards the end is that you have your business idea, you put it on a pitch deck and you pitch it to your potential investors. Okay. All right. So right here, if you look at the purpose, the purpose to open investors' mind to your vision and get them excited to know more. Okay, so that is the main purpose, right? You want your investors to open their mind and to know more about your proposal or your vision, right? You want to give enough information, not too much. Okay, so make sure that it's just enough. All right. So normally when you talk about pitching to the investor, all right, so it will only take about, if it's in a competition, normally you will be given 7 minutes. All right. So sometimes you will have maybe 10 minutes. Okay. But in general, most of the competition, you only have about 7 minutes to present to your so-called audience or investors. Right. So you must give them enough information to get them excited, but leave them wanting more, meaning that you don't give everything. All right. So you want to make sure that they want to know more about you. All right. So that is most important about preparing your pitch deck. Yeah. So, and of course, your pitch deck should stand on its own, meaning that if you are not around to present, whoever reads your pitch deck will be able to understand what you are trying to say. All right. So it has to be concise, tell a story, visual, right? So more visual, and also has about 10 to 15 slides. If I have time later, I will share with you some example. Okay. All right. Common mistakes, right? Too many slides, too much information. So this is a common mistakes, right? And normally when you do a pitch deck, you do not put too many writings, right? That's why it says visual and explanatory, write-ups, right? You don't have to do an essay on your pitch decks, okay? Wordy slides, to avoid, okay? So you don't have to have too many words on your slides, okay? Guy Kawasaki's rule. Basically, he says that he says there's 10, 20, 30, right? Of PowerPoint slides where you only need 10 slides, 20 minutes to present, and 30-point font or greater. 30 point means the size of the font, right? It has to be big, all right? Don't put too many product details or too many financial details, right? That will also cloud the slides or the deck, okay? Then also don't belittle your competitors. You only talk about yourself, don't talk about others, okay? Talk about how good you are, right? And don't put any false and silly assumptions on your deck, okay? If you don't know, don't put, right? Have a right data on your deck, okay? And of course, don't be, don't have a false confidence or arrogance about your deck or your proposal. Okay, these are the components. All right, later I'll go through one by one. Okay, 10 to 11. Okay, so basically the first one will be your elevator pitch. Okay, I do not know how many of you know or have done elevator pitch before. All right, so that will be the first one. And then secondly is about your momentum, traction, or expertise about your company, right, or your venture. So you need to put that in place, okay? Number 3 is the market opportunity, right? You must define the market size. Who are your customer base and so on, right? Then only you highlight the problems. What are the problems that you want to solve, okay? So what you need to fill and other solutions and so on, all right? So your products or your services must be able to provide a solution to the problems, okay? Then number 6, the business model. You must show your business model. How do you make money? The key revenue streams and so on, right? That is very, very important because the investors want to see how you make money from that particular venture, okay? And how do you market it? Yeah, the market approach and strategy, how you grow your business, right? So that is also important. And another important aspect is the team and the key stakeholders. That's why I mentioned earlier, normally when you go for pitching, investors will not be interested if you are the only person. You are the only founder and the team in the company, right? So you must have founding teams. You must have at least 3 people to 4 people to show that you are strong, okay? You also can add on your advisors or whoever that you think that can bring value to your company, okay? And you must also show your financials, right? So normally it's your projections and so on, okay? Then your competition. You are not going to be alone in the market, right? So you must be able to identify who are your competitors, what better that you can do against them, right? And of course, last and but not least, when you pitch, definitely you're asking for funding. You have to justify. I mean, you have to let them know how much you are looking for and justify what are you going to use that money for, right? The basic use of funds. Okay, so these are the major slides or decks that you need to prepare, about 11 of them. All right, of course, you do have other optional slides like exit strategy, partnership agreements, product service demo, and so on. But this is can be an add-on, not necessarily to be in the main slides, right? So normally the main slide is about 11, okay, 10 to 11. Okay, so why is it called elevator pitch? Because it's like a lift, right? When you go into a lift, you want to reach to one next floor. It will only take you how long? 30 seconds, 1 minute, right? Even sometimes you go all the way up to 50 floors of a building. It will only take you 2 to 3 minutes, right? Okay. So why they call it elevator pitch is that you must be able to convey or to present your pitch within a short period of time to an interested party. Let's assume you met an investor, or maybe you met someone like Tony Fernandez in the lift, all right, in the elevator, right? And you want to tell about your business venture, your idea to him, and he doesn't have the time to wait for you when the elevator door open, right? So you need to make sure that you are able to deliver that within a very short period of time while you are with him in that particular lift. Am I right? Okay, so that's the reason why we call it a elevator pitch. Is just to share your vision. Okay, a quick one-liner summary that combines your vision, product, and the mission of your company. So keep it short and memorable, right? So one way of doing this, all right, you can practice this when you go back, all right? You must know what you want to do, okay? What business that you are getting into, okay? And make it relatable. Like we are X for Y, meaning that let's assume, you know, Airbnb, right? Airbnb, where you can, rent rooms or house or whatever it is, right? So it's the same concept, but for different business or business purpose, right? So we are Airbnb for event spaces. So it means that your business is doing event spaces, but you are doing it like Airbnb business model. You are renting it out and so on, right? So same thing goes to, we are the Starbucks of frozen yogurt. So you are actually trying to copy Starbucks, but you are selling frozen yogurt, right? So these are the examples that you can, what we call this, try to convey, yeah, to your prospect investors, right? An easy way to share. Okay. Traction. Okay, traction is important. A lot of people think that traction means money, meaning that sales. No, it's not necessarily to be sales, because sometimes new venture do not have sales, right? So they have tractions. So the traction is where, what have they done? Let's say since they started the venture until today, what have they achieved? Like just now I've shared about Mekapan. They do not have sales. They have not even started, but their traction is that they managed to get partnership from 450, owners of all these spas, wellness centers, and so on. So that is considered traction, because once you have that, you have the value, right? The monetary value can be, so-called accounted for, right? So these are the things. Testimonies, success stories, and so on. Even partnership can be traction. I'm partnering with so-called like just now, Yumori, they are partnering with Nano Malaysia. That is a very, very big traction, right? As partnership, and also offered a loan by the government of certain value. So that is also a good traction to show to other investors. Okay. Market opportunity, right? You have to show how big is your market, right? Define your market. Who are you selling to? Okay. How big is the market size, the total market size, right? So this is where you need to have total market size. You need to have the addressable size, and also the target market itself, right? So you got to clearly define your market opportunity in one slide, okay? And then you share the problem and also the current solutions, okay? So what are the problems faced by the people out there? And how do you solve that problems? Okay, let's say now, there's a lot of, you're talking about food waste, right? Food waste at home, food waste in the school canteens, food waste in the offices. So how do you dispose this, right? So there's solutions been in a market to, to do this, right? Where you are able to convert that to become, using microbes to become, fertilizers and so on, right? So these are solutions, for all these problems that faced by the people out there, all right? But of course, make sure that the solution has got good monetary value. It has a scalable business model and so on, okay? Then only you talk about your products and services, right? When you offer the solution, then what is the products that you have to solve that problem, right? So maybe you have the images or visual prototypes and so on to share, okay? And revenue model, okay? How do you make money from this particular venture, right? So that's why you need to somehow also have the good understanding of business model canvas, right? So once you have good understanding, then you'll be able to easily come up with your revenue model, right? Who are your customer segment? How do you make money from them? What are your pricing model? How much are you going to charge? Yeah, what is the revenue? Is it subscription based, or is it one off? Then also you must be able to know what is your lifetime value of your customer. How long that the customer will be with you, how much are they going to spend money with you, things like that, right? For example, like Starbucks has got a very good customer retention, where they have repeat customers or loyal customers that going there every day. So these are they're talking about lifetime value. Some of them even more than 10 years, still keep going there, right? So these are the things that we want to build with our revenue model. Okay. Then of course you have to share and show how do you plan to market it, right? What are the activities that you're going to do, right? What are the approach methods and so on in terms of marketing and growing this particular venture. And you need to also highlight your team, as I said just now. All right. So basically, different team members has got their own expertise, right? You got to highlight that, and what role are they playing in the company? Okay. So this will give a very, very strong, so-called confidence, right, to the investors. Okay, when you have a very strong team, right? Always a strong team, even in big organization, will bring the company to the next level, right? And financials, okay, so basically, based on my experience, you do not have to put so much information there. All right, you just need to have like information on your projection, right? Sales of the next 3 years or 5 years, and then what do you spend, for the next 10 years, whatever, which is your overheads, right? And of course, if you have more information, would be good, the total customers, total revenue, expense, and so on, that you are able to put there, right? So because basically you only have got one page, so you don't have to put everything in that particular page, right? So the investors can have more information if they require. Okay. Then competition, where do you exist, right? In a larger overall market space. So you must tell them, whether you are in the blue ocean or the red ocean, what are your the competitive advantage that you have against your competitors and so on. So these are the things that you need to highlight in the competition slide. Then this is the last one, where the investment part. Okay, so the investment part, you need to let them know how much that you are raising, meaning that how much you want, all right? Say 500,000, 500,000, or maybe for small startups, you need about only 150,000 or 200,000, right? So from there, you must be able to show to them why you need that money and for what purpose, right? So this money is meant for what, okay? All right. So 8 tips from Successful Shark. After this, I will show you some example. 8 tips from Successful Shark Tank product pitches. This is one of my students when she was pitching during the MyWin Academy. Her product on recycled eco bag, right? That was one of the pitch that she was pitching for the shopping, I would say for the supermarket customer and so on. Okay, one, make sure that you prepare. That's why I said just now, you got to have ample time to prepare your pitch deck, right? You have to practice, your pitch in front of your people first. So next week we'll be doing this, so that in this 1 week, I want you to prepare your pitch deck as much as possible, right? And then we will practice that in next week. So everyone has to pitch, right? You will get 7 minutes to pitch, right? Then tell a great story and make an emotional connection. Promote yourself as a savvy business person, right? And make your presentation visual and interactive, right? It has to be visual and interactive, right? Not much of wordings, right? More photos, more pictures. Highlight product validation, right? If you have, right, that must be highlighted, right, by talking about every early sales. Come in with a negotiation strategy, because when you talk to your investors, you must be able to negotiate, because it's good for you to to view Shark Tank. Go to YouTube and watch the Shark Tank videos. Then you can see how those people negotiate during the pitching, right? And of course, keep your cool. Don't be intimidated or whatever when you are grilled by the investor. You must keep cool, right? Okay, so these are the tips, right, given. So all this outline I'll give it to you maybe I will get the committee to share and stuff. How that can get connected with you guys later, right? So you must know what the judges are looking for, right? One, they are looking for passion and also passion versus calm, right? So they are looking for someone who are passionate, right? Someone who are trusted, competent, right? So, and also coachability. So because when an investor comes into your company, they want you to be coachable, right? You have to also somehow, listen to them. You become their protege and so on, right? So you must be coachable, meaning that you must be able to learn, unlearn, and also relearn. All right. So this is very, very important. Okay. All right. These are some of the books and tools I can also share with you if you want. All right. So, okay. That is the framework of the pitching lab. This is just a run through. Normally I go into very detail, but we don't have much time to do that because I only normally do that during the workshop. Okay. I want to share with you examples. Examples. Hold on, let me check. Okay. I'll show a pitch deck done by Yumori Graphene. However, this is a bit of quite extensive, right? Because more than 10 slides, about 20 slides, that's maximum, because there's a lot of things to share there, right? But this is also the slides being used for the pitching recently at KL Convention Center, all right? So this is how it looks like, all right? Pitch deck, Yumori Graphene Technologies, super battery using graphene nanotechnology, okay? So they started with their team members, all right? So these are the team members. Basically, the founders are Surya and also Shazwin, husband and wife, but they brought in all the technical partners, right? Technical partners and stakeholders into this team, right? So you can see all these people are doctors, CEO of Nano Malaysia, even lead research scientist, Professor Dr. Azizan, and some of other experts in the market, right? So these are the problem statement. They don't, you see, they don't even write anything, just 2 photos, right? So they basically, when you look at this, you must be curious, what is this? But during the pitching, the person who will explain what is these problems, right? And lithium-ion battery with graphene nanotechnology. So this is the example, the solution, right? So a new technology, a new solution to the market. So by looking at these two, you know already what is the difference, okay? Then what you need to know about graphene batteries for electric cars, right? So they give you some, what we call this, snapshots from the websites and so on, okay? Then value proposition. So why graphene technology is 10 times faster charging, high energy density, 4 times increased battery life cycle, right? And comparison. This is a benchmarking. This is you and your competitor. Who else in the market? So what makes you different from the rest, right? So in terms of the energy density, you are considered at a very high end, slightly lesser than the LG. Okay, so means that you are actually at the top notch against the other players like Panasonic, Toshiba, and so on. Okay. So these are the opportunity. So they highlight what are the opportunity worldwide, right? How many billions of it, storage market revenue, share forecast, and so on. So you must do a bit of so-called market study, research online to come up with all these figures, right? Based on your business. And they are coming up with their own so-called EV motorcycle, right? And also supplying those batteries to the battery manufacturers like Tesla, LG Chem, Panasonic, Samsung, and CATL, and so on, right? So that is their target market. This is Surya, and this is their fundraise planning utilization. That's what I mentioned just now. how much for them to how much are they looking at to raise, all right, for what percent of dilution, meaning that if they raise 20 million, you know, for a 10% dilution, you know, in other words, their valuation of the company will be 200 million. Okay, so that's how people value the company. All right, so they already break down for operation expenditure, capital expenditure, raw material, financial expenditure, and so on. Right, that's how you do it to show to the investor what how you will use the money, right, when you got it. Right, then also some return on investment and so on. All right, so this is how they also prepare their financial statement. Okay, then they also show their so-called tractions, partnerships, potential partnerships, and also interest by all these companies. So, and objectives, looking for partners and collaborators, right? So that's it. So that is their so-called competitor analysis. These are actually extra slides, okay, that they put in. All right, so basically that was the end. The last slide is this one. Okay, well, I think I've shared with you one, and the other one is this is also quite interesting. Maybe I can share this one quickly. Okay, this one was by one of my students during my program with UTM MBA students, right? Let me share. Okay, this is just an assignment, yeah? Assignment, like what you are doing right now, okay? So after my pitching lab, they came up with this, all right? So it's for medical solution. Life Medical, right? Aim Health for better for providing home healthcare services. This is for actually for elderly, all right? So they came up with this pitch deck, all right? So roadmap and tractions, or what they have been, you know, doing and so on, all right? Then market validation. What are the market size, right? So total available market, serviceable available market, right? So this is what we call the TAMs, the SAM, and also the target market, TM, right? So Klang Valley, so they are targeting Klang Valley is only about 420K Klang Valley population, right? So these are the target markets that they are looking at. So problems, right? Then what will be their solution is to offer these innovative ways, you know, for them through the digital online bookings and so on. All right, so these are their business model. Okay, so also their membership fees, one-time payment, and so on. All right, how do they market it? All right, through advertisements, referral programs, telemarketing, and so on. Okay, this is a team. All right, Izrin and also her team. Izrin basically working with KPJ, right? Because they're doing MBA, right? So at that time they're already working. Okay, so these are the example of pitch deck that they prepare. Yeah, expected revenues. So you need to come up with this, all right? What are your revenues that you are projecting for your next, you know, 2-3 years? Right. So this is the investment part. How much are they looking at? Raising for 20% equity, right? So they need it for what? And what is the payback and stuff like that. Okay. So basically this is pitch deck. All right. Okay. So we don't have much time left. Any questions before we end the session? Because after this I have to rush to UIA as well. There's a function there. Ada soalan tak? Any question? Anything that you don't understand? And now we going quite fast with so many information today, right? I just want you to, you know, to gain as much as possible. But because the pitching part, we will have another session next week, right? So that will be the framework, the guideline. I will prepare and maybe share with you so that you can prepare your pitch decks, right? The whatever that you can for next week. Okay. I know that it's not easy, but at least you can have something that you can come up with so that you can practice it next week. Okay. So, any questions? Jangan malu-malu. Okay, what's that? Let's say I have 3 members in my team, so okay, one person will have 2 job scope like CEO, CFO at the same time. Okay, yes. When you are small, you can have dual roles or position. All right. But of course, you need to look at, let's say, of course, you are the CEO, but at the same time, you are also an accountant. You can do the so-called accounts part, whatever, because in the beginning, you may not really, have much things to do on the accounts side, right? Basically, if you were to submit your statement to your investor on the first year or 2 years or so, it's still nothing, zero. Okay. Why? Because you don't have business to run at that time, because you are still building and so on. So it's okay, not a big problem with that. All right, you can always start with the three person, but then maybe one person holding 2 position, not an issue, because at the end of the day, basically when you just got started, you do everything, right? Until you reach a point, a time where you are able to hire your first employee, right? So you need to know what is the best time and also position that you want to offer at that time. Okay, any other questions? Anyone here has already got any business ideas or already running? Can you share with me? Hello, hello. Ada sesiapa? Or at least anyone planning to start something?
I already have a business before this.
Siapa tu? Ya, tak nampak.
Anis.
Anis. Okay, what business, Anis?
I'm doing skincare beauty skincare product.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where do you sell?
What?
Where do you sell? Online.
Yes, online.
So you take some other someone's product, then you sell online, is it?
Yes.
Okay, okay, good. So still doing it?
Yes, until now.
Okay. So are you doing it alone or you have a team?
I'm doing with my team, like my agent.
Agents lah. Okay.
Yeah.
So basically it's an agent system lah. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Anybody else? Okay, our objective here is that we are looking for someone with ideas, right? To start something, a startup, right? That will be something ideal, right? Let's say you can find some problems even in your campus, right? Then you can find a solution. Then you can come up with an idea, pitch it and stuff like that. That will be best, right? As I said just now, like macam Anis, you are doing just a trading basically, all right? A business, okay, but that is not considered a startup ataupun a entrepreneurial punya venture, okay. So but it's good for you to start learning how to sell, how to have a team and stuff like that. Okay, kalau tak ada questions, because I think we already passed the time. Any more before we end?
I have a question.
Anyone?
Apa tu?
My name is Ahmed Murshid. I have a question. For the pitching session, is it only for startup or is it okay for already existing business?
No, basically pitching is for anybody, because you pitch, I mean, in your life also you pitch in different aspects, right? Even you want to get married, also you have to pitch. Am I right? Okay. You want to get a bank loan, also you have to pitch. You want to do anything, so you still have to pitch. So it's just a matter of how you learn. But what we are doing right now here is to prepare you to pitch as a startup. All right. So startups has got different ways to pitch. If you already have an existing business, it depends what kind of pitch that you who do you pitch to, right? And what are you pitching for? So but the fundamental is still the same, only maybe the content is different, right? So still, it relevant to anyone that you have to learn how to pitch. Okay. Yes.
Thank you.
Anis, you want to say something just now?
Okay, I would like to ask about the product. Can we need to take the existing product, or we have to create it for pitching that?
Oh, okay. All right. It doesn't matter, right? It doesn't mean that you for the pitching deck you have to create a new product. But if you have new ideas, it's much better. Okay. But if you already have something right now, okay, let's say now it's not your own product. It doesn't mean that it has to be your product. It can be other people's product. But this is the business model. How do you do it differently? How do you market it and so on? Why you need the money and stuff like that, right? So that is also because sometimes there's a lot of business out there that does not require their own products, right? They depends on other people's product as well, but they must have a business model to go into the market. Am I right? So you can do the same thing as well, right? You have that particular product, but how do you scale your business? How do you grow that business? No problem. Ada lagi? Yang lain-lain? Semua senyap je? Okay, kalau tak ada, I would like to end this session. All right. I would like to thank all of you for attending my session today. Maybe after this kita boleh ambil gambar sekejap kan, Amir? Right? All right. So I hope that you have gained a lot from this session, although it's very short. All right. Maybe inshallah in the future we can have more, similar session that we can learn more things, right? Sebenarnya banyak benda nak kena belajar, right? But then, of course, we just follow the program. Okay. So I hope that all of you here are budding entrepreneurs, right? I just want to see something out of you guys. Okay, not only just attending classes, but also you have to start something, start creating. Okay, so we hope that you'll be able to be one of the entrepreneurs starting from the campus or UIA. All right, so I'm more than happy to so-called handhold you people or nurture you people and so on with our team. Ada masalah, inshallah we can help. All right, so together with EDC, Dr. Rose and the team as well, we would love to see more IIUM students to become an entrepreneur. Okay, so inshallah I can also be reachable through my email or my mobile number. I can share, no problem. Any of you wants any advice and so on, I'm more than willing to share, right? Inshallah nanti kita boleh, kalau ada rezeki boleh jumpa, right, face to face and so on in the near future. Okay. All right. So with that, thank you again. I will really appreciate your participation, and also kalau boleh nanti please prepare the deck, and also we can go through again next week, also together with my one of my committee member, nama dia pun Syamsul Amri, right, from our alumni. Okay, he will be next week's punya nilah trainer as well. All right, so inshallah we will go through with you, right, to prepare you with a good pitch deck, all right, not only for competition, also for your business. Okay, inshallah. Right, so with that, I end with Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh, and pass back to Amir. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Tuan Syamsul, for the very fruitful and inspiring session just now. So we hope all the participants can use the knowledge and output obtained to improve our surroundings with influence. So now let's proceed with the photography session. Participants are encouraged to turn on your camera during the session. We will give around 30 seconds to be ready.
Tak apa, tak ramai ni ah.
Okay lah.
On camera sekejap.
Yeah,
Kejap je.
on camera. Hmm.
Nah, mana yang lain?
Okay, saya tak nak buka kot.
Ha,
Okay, tak apalah. Okay.
tak apa, no problem.
So-
Yang mana yang ada je.
Alisa ready? Okay. 1, 2, 3. One more. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So thank you. On behalf of the organizing committee, we would like to apologize for any shortcomings throughout the program. And before the participants leave, kindly be informed to fill in the attendance and evaluation form given in the chat box. And we appreciate your help in evaluating this